Hello, this is a full moon video on September 7th for the lunar eclipse in Pisces. So I'm making a little video update on what I think is going on collectively. So this is your collective weather report for what's going on right now. So here's my gist of it. This eclipse, like any eclipse, it's about letting something go. But what specifically? Well, it's your illusions. And hear me out why this is about illusions. Because think of it this way. If you've had certain fears, certain projections or assumptions or expectations about how life is going to be or how a person is going to be, but it turns out that person or that life story is nothing like how you thought it would be. That's what this eclipse is here to reveal. It's here to bust the narrative and show you what's really going on. So this is like coming out of a slumber, like waking up to a new reality. And this reality, it comes with a certain level of discomfort. Like any eclipse, of course, this will be about your shadow. And what your shadow is really that part of you that tries to protect you, which we call a protector part, but it's actually sabotaging you. And there may be a protector part here that's actually good for you, but you don't like it. You reject it. It's a part of you, you say, no, I can't do that. Why? Because the world says you can't. The collective says you can't. Society says you can't do that. So there are certain restrictions imposed upon you through your mind. And how it works, because this eclipse is in Pisces, all of this will be unconscious. And of course, the unconscious speaks to you through emotions. And one primary emotion of this eclipse is shame. Because shame or guilt tells you not to do something because a group of people has decided that that's a bad thing to do. Okay, that is really one of the main themes here. Now, what this eclipse is really asking you to do is to see through the deception, see through the lies, see through how you're being played. Because you're being played to become a puppet of somebody else's version of reality. This is really a time where fantasy is taking over the world. AI is taking over. People are getting lost in isolation. People don't talk to each other. Communities are gone. Friendships, mostly about enabling pathological patterns in which somebody stays comfortable, not changing. And everybody around them is enabling it. So people are lost in addictions. Addictions to toxic behaviors, toxic defense mechanisms, and especially patterns of escapism. And this is all what Pisces North Node and Pisces Saturn, now that it's back in that sign, are going to reveal. And you will see a lot of this, where people will try to run away from their feelings, try to distract themselves, look for somebody or something to make them feel better, to comfort them, to please them, to make it all go away. Why? Because chaos has been stronger in this year of the snake than it may have been ever in your life before. Essentially, the whole world is experiencing some emotional chaos cycle, like a chaos cycle. And Saturn, Neptune is testing, are you gonna face the shadow? Are you gonna face your paranoia, your fear, and all of those patterns which bind you to something that you do over and over again, like a loop-de-loop. Okay, so all these loops, they're very strong right now. So if you feel like things are happening outside of your control, Things are breaking down. You feel like you're losing the plot. You're losing a sense of predictability, a sense of control, a sense of stability. That's all what the eclipse is supposed to give you, so you can become comfortable with the chaos and integrate the chaos, work with the chaos, use the chaos to dissolve the rigidity in your personality. I know this is all sounding very vague, there are so many ways in which this can express itself. But the thing about this mutable energy, Virgo Pisces, especially since Mercury is also in Virgo at the time of this eclipse, is that it wants you to adapt. Okay? It doesn't want you to maintain a structure forever. It wants you to let go of that structure, to let go of that attachment, to let go of a person or something that you're doing to cope with reality. Because reality is very painful. Most people don't like reality. That's why they try to convince themselves, oh yeah, it's not that bad. Oh yeah, I can deal with it. I can live with this. What are you living with? What are you tolerating that you shouldn't tolerate, really? And where are you being self-critical to the point of analysis paralysis that you are not able to take any action? Because nothing is ever good enough. These are all things, of course, that Virgo as a sign show you. And another thing is with this eclipse, that it's showing you manipulation patterns, lies and deception. Because Mercury is very close to the Sun during this eclipse as well. And Mercury is about thinking of how important and how significant your words are. Okay, like everything you say can and will be used against you. Because it's almost like the universe is trying to throw in anything it can to make you feel isolated or to make you feel like nothing you say is going to make any difference. It's going to ramp up the difficulty in conversations. It's going to lead to misunderstandings, disagreements between people. And by the way, if what I'm saying here doesn't apply to you, it's not just about you. This is a collective energy. So go in where you fit in, as I like to say. Whatever I'm explaining here, you will fit in somewhere. Yeah. How I work, I give you a whole list of all the things that this eclipse is representing. Are you going to experience all of them? Possibly not. Are you experiencing some of them? Of course, right? That's the whole point. But anyways, what was my point to go next here is that Virgo is about hiding your mistakes, hiding that you've done something wrong. And sometimes we think we did something wrong when actually we did something right. But everybody else is trying to convince us that it's wrong. And this is where collective perception is threatening our ego, our self-image, our reputation. This is where smear campaigns come in. This is where gossip takes place. This is where people will nitpick, criticize, and inflate the smallest mistakes that you make. And use it against you to portray you as a certain character, as a villain in their story. And this villainification is about black and white thinking and splitting. That's a defense mechanism where somebody thinks you're either all good or all bad. Because Pisces is the ideal to which we aspire to, which we can never fully become, but we still try, which is like an archetypal image of a person like Christ, who is supposed to be a perfect person, but doesn't exist. That's what people project as themselves and as other people, of what they expect somebody should be doing, is Pisces. But what you ultimately end up doing is Virgo, which is you serve and you try to do the best you can to make as little mistakes as possible, but eventually you're going to make some mistakes. And if you do, you need Pisces acceptance and compassion to feel emotionally stable enough to maintain your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual stability. Otherwise, if you fall because of a small mistake, because of a small criticism, if that is enough to rattle your cage, if that is enough to make you feel ashamed of yourself, it's exposing your insecurity. It's exposing the tyrant in your mind, which is hypercritical of you, trying to nitpick this little thing and inflate it. And what happens when somebody or yourself is looking at yourself as all bad because of a small mistake? It means you are giving way too much importance to something that you're doing. Something that you're doing is way too important, and it is about ego inflation. It's about pride. And you know what they say? Pride comes before the fall. So pride is a defense mechanism to cover up the shame. And pride is what people use to portray a stable, predictable, and hive mind approved version of themselves, which is called the persona. Why am I explaining this? Because I'm just telling you that is what the eclipse is showing. Okay, that is what it's about. It's about the mask of Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. Mercury is very close to the sun right now. Mercury is exalted in Virgo. So Mercury is the star player here. And Mercury, with both moons happening during Mercury's season, the Virgo season, in the eclipse, right? Because there's going to be a new moon in Virgo at the end of the month, September 21. Mercury is the lord of deception, the master of manipulation. He is the deceiver, okay, in his lower manifestation. And how does the deceiver work? Well, he is a trickster who convinces you that you are the mask. You are the persona. So you are what they say they are. You are their projection. And if you are not their projection, if you try to convince them, to persuade them, if you try to manipulate them so that they don't project onto you, they don't send you the evil eye, they don't engage in splitting and paint you as all bad, if you are fawning or you are putting yourself down so that the other person can look at you as a good person, welcome to Virgo's shadow. The archetypal manifestation of Virgo in its most negative form is a martyr, or a sweet, innocent, perfect little angel who's just misunderstood, and everybody else is the problem. Everybody else is judging you, prosecuting you, and you are doing everything you can to prove that you are good enough. You're a good noodle. And everybody who claims that you're not a good noodle, they are a bad person. And you are pristine, pure, and pious. Okay, so this is the Virgo thing. And you will see this with people who have a lot of Virgo placements. If they haven't done the inner work, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. So it's almost like Virgo is the expert, the master of mimicking what it means to be a human being. Virgo mimics humanness because it is not human. Actually, it is human, but the intellectual side of humanity, the dry side, the analytical, the logical side. And this side has no connection to the emotions. So when somebody is disconnected from their emotions, they cannot express who they really are. They don't know who they really are. They have an identity disorder. And this person who suppresses themselves will lie to themselves and lie to other people about what they want and who other people are and what other people want. They create a fantasy reality. We think Pisces is all about that, but Virgo is actually the master manipulator, Because only Mercury has the intelligence as the trickster to create a trick so convincing it's almost indistinguishable from the real thing. Okay? So if anybody can convince you that he's real when he's not, it's Virgo Mercury. Well, Mercury is exalted. So this is very important, because how do we know we are real? How do we know we are our true self? Because without it, without our true self, where is our compass? Where are our morals? What are our values? We are not there. So who's there? The collective unconscious, the hive mind, whatever is approved by other people. And this is why pride is such a huge theme of Virgo, such an important defense mechanism. To be proud is to be approved by an audience. That audience is always watching you. And your eyes become their eyes. And the narcissistic supply that you get from this, of believing that the performance is the real you, creates a sense of validation, a sense of ego elation, a sense of relief, a sense of self-love. Okay? To believe that you are good, if it depends on an external factor, then it's not real, because it has a temporary existence. Unfortunately, of course, when we deal with earth element energy, everything earthy is temporary. What people cannot take away, however, is your resourcefulness, your skill, your talent. And that's what Mercury is supposed to provide. But unfortunately, in the shadow manifestation of Virgo, the identification of self-esteem is always tied to the result, the physical result. And this is where the ego has a hook. Okay? Well, if people like me, if people praise me and validate me and accept me, I must be good, because the world approves. That is the illusion, right? That is how Maya can get you. But if nobody likes me, nobody approves of me, then I must be bad. Right? Again, we are using an external source of supply to feed our ego. And this is what the lunar eclipse is exposing. What is feeding your ego? And I don't think a lot of people would read this based on the astrology. They don't really understand the way I look at Virgo, that it is a very narcissistic sign in a shadow manifestation. And we have to look at the shadow manifestation, because that is the whole point. What do you think is being released? What do you think is being highlighted at any given time? Of course, your whole life can be argued isn't all about shadow work or healing, right? There must be an element of fun, as if we are on a vacation here. Look around you. All the good things in life. It can easily be argued that all the good things we see on this planet are just a comforter to make you forget that you are actually in a prison and not in a vacation spot. But if you believe these distractions, that you are in a vacation and this is all love and light, then the belief system that you will most likely align with will naturally be hedonistic, will be pleasure-oriented. And pleasure is the devil's playground. Pleasure, good feelings, happiness. That's what the mind is looking for. But it is looking for in all the wrong places if we look for it in the physical world. Unless we are able to fix our problems. And our problems, in 99% of cases, have to do with a karmic pattern. Whether it's our pattern or the collective's pattern, it doesn't really matter. Something karmic is always at play. And that is blocking pleasure. But yeah, you see where I'm going with this. The collective, society at large, the majority of people, they are all about distraction. And unfortunately, this is a shadow of the mutable signs. Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini. They are the masters of distracting themselves from reality. And why? Because they are the bridge between reality and illusion. They are the communication channels, the mutable signs, okay? And as a communication channel, you must be a receiver of information. You must know things. And then you must tell somebody about these things. But if people complain, if people resist the knowledge, then you cannot do your job. If you cannot communicate with people about what it is that you're thinking or you're feeling, then it isolates you and it forces you to make a choice. Do I set up a mask and provide a handler persona to manage other people and tell them what they want to hear so they leave me alone and give me maybe some kind of a reward? Or do I tell the truth, provide the message, allow humanity to evolve, but at the cost of losing a lot of friends, a lot of social interactions, a lot of opportunities? The mutable signs are supposed to be in that chaos of gain and loss, of ups and downs. Pisces, Sagittarius show you this in the best way. This is where Jupiter has its own domain. Jupiter, as the planet of optimism, thrives in two mutable signs. Why? Because Jupiter, as you know, this is literally like your optimism. Like, I know good things will happen if I do this. There must be a part of you that believes good things will happen if you do something that leads to bad things. If you don't believe good things will happen despite the negative feedback, then the feedback controls you. Okay? And this is why this season with Pisces North Node conjunction eclipse is about finding faith. Faith to ignore the temptation of Maya, which tries to convince you to put up a mask, put up an illusion, and hide yourself. Disappear with the collective. Allow the handler to take over. That is the temptation. Yeah? That is kind of the challenge at this moment. Because only faith can really get you through the jungle. And with this faith, you can orient. And you know that even if you don't know what's going to happen next, even if everything is kind of up in the air and you can't predict anything, you're still going to feel all right. Actually, it's Jupiter that makes you feel good about the future and about the present when Jupiter is functioning properly. Okay? This is why the traditional association of Jupiter and Pisces is also important when we talk about that sign, because this can be easily overlooked. Okay, I'm not trying to get too intellectual with the details here, because that is a Virgo shadow. I am actually just talking about what I think is going on at this moment. And that's something that you learn to do. You learn how to receive information without looking at the details, without looking where the planets are, without looking at books or podcasts or videos like this one, are you aware of what is happening energetically inside of you? Because what is happening inside of you in the macrocosm also happens in the microcosm, also happens in the macrocosm. As within, so without. Pisces has the ability to connect as the bridge between the unconscious of you and the unconscious of everybody else. While Gemini and Virgo are the conscious you, conscious everybody else. And the conscious you and everybody is unfortunately often very unconscious and rooted in illusion. People are in denial. People are pretending, masking, believing they are the mask. Again, their conscious is what's being illusory. And then they are disconnected from themselves and they are unable to really understand what's going on or what they are supposed to do at any given time. So do you know what is going on? Do you know where the signs are carrying you? The symbolism. And the more you can connect to the symbolism, get rooted in it, and trust it, good things happen. How do you trust? Well, you trust because you know. Trust is not about positive thinking. You know, I love to bring that up because of all the spiritual communities loving their positive thinking, their avoidant attachment bypassing. Positive thinking is actually negative. Because if you think positively, it means you don't believe that negative thoughts are positive. You see, it's an ego loop. It's a shadow manifestation. To believe in positive thinking as superior to negative thinking, because it devalues negative thoughts and casts fear inside of your mind, in which you will avoid those negative thoughts, thinking it will give you a sense of control over your feelings and you will feel good all the time. That is the definition of avoidant attachment. Very important also to understand with Pisces, because this is a Pisces shadow. Okay? Pisces loves to create a false reality, believing that the real reality, which is really negative, is going to manifest more of the negative, which of course is a kind of magical thinking. It's a confusion between external and internal objects to believe that the external objects are controlled by your thoughts. But wait a second, even if they are controlled by your thoughts, and you are scared of your thoughts, and you're operating in fear of negativity, then you will also get negativity. It's a catch-22. So you see, you will lose no matter what. With these belief systems, it doesn't matter. And unfortunately, way too many people are falling for it. So that's just something I wanted to explain. Yes. Yeah, just checking. Okay, we're 28 minutes in. Bottom line, your mind is the greatest trickster. The mind loves to create a fantasy reality and then believe in that reality against all odds. So look for cognitive dissonance. Desire cognitive dissonance. You want to be wrong. Be wrong. Make mistakes. Allow yourself to be false. And you'll be able to change your mind, and you change your life. So that is really important, because whatever you expect, you will find ways to reinforce it. Whatever you look for around you, you will find ways to find it. The subconscious loves to get confirmation. I see something that I'm looking for, and it must be true. Because it inflates the small details and makes it so that all it can see is those details. This is called filter, a perception filter. And this is one of the mechanisms in black and white thinking. If I don't understand something, if I don't have enough information about something, let me create a theory of what it could be. and then attach to that theory, and then wait and wait and wait until somebody confirms that theory for me, while ignoring any information that contradicts it. Also, Virgo is really, really good at this projection game, you know, this black and white thinking. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say here, this eclipse is eclipsing out where you hold on to a narrative. The narrative doesn't have any significance. It is not important. The narrative doesn't help you. The narrative is not going to lead to your salvation. What leads to your salvation, to your redemption, to your resolution, to your Pisces North Node, is to look for the new narrative. Okay, this has been my story so far, but could there be a different story? Could it be different? Like, for example, let's say you have really negative experiences with other people. This is like a common one. Let's say you are always rejected by other people, your relationships never work out. If you try to address a problem and you trigger somebody, they leave you, they overreact, and the relationship is over. See that? Ever experienced that before? What if you can try again? What if you can still trigger that person, tell them something uncomfortable, but you're so open, you're so in your faith, believing that it's still the right thing to do, to communicate and to confront and to clarify, and you're so detached from the outcome. You don't care if it doesn't work out, because you believe that there is still a chance. There is still a chance that good things will happen. You don't know how it will happen, but you will look for ways to make it happen. You see, this is what Pisces does. Why? And by the way, I am very aware, the shadow of this dynamic. But here's the thing. This lunar eclipse is on the North Node. The eclipse is a moon conjunction North Node aspect. The North Node shows you what you're supposed to develop. You're supposed to be hopeful. You're supposed to look for resolution and something to work with. You're not supposed to drop it. Yeah. To give up. Unless that thing drains your energy and radically and really negatively affects your state of mind, your mental well-being. Okay, because of course Pisces deals with these energy vampires, these drains. These you need to remove. And then you need to find a way to communicate in a clear and direct manner, and have faith that the communication is going to work out. Because otherwise, what will happen is that you'll avoid communication altogether. You ghost people, or you stop responding altogether. You just disappear from the earth and you become a hermit. And this is a shadow manifestation that's so strong right now. Oh my God, this is so common. So this is why it's important to be aware of this. Just as a little last note before I finish this video. In any case, this is my little lunar eclipse video. If you found it helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment for feedback if anything I talked about is happening for you. And if you're interested in a personal reading, one-on-one, you know where to find me. You can message me at any time if you're interested in a one-on-one natal chart reading. That being said, thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video. See you around. Bye-bye.